What's up, YouTube? So this kicks off the Weekend Rig build series, which is composed of two different builds. So it's my 1962 Volkswagen Dune buggy and a foamy teardrop camper that we're actually going to build from scratch. Let's jump over to the computer real fast and I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking. So I want to give a quick background on this car and this whole build series actually before we get started. So I guess I bought this car about a year ago now. I've slowly been collecting all the big parts I need, and we are finally to the point where we can get started on this. This car was originally from California, so it was almost all rust free except for the battery box area, but they had already replaced that whole section of the floorboard. So this is the perfect starter pan. Now what we're going to do for this build is we'll be running with a swing axle, with a rebuilt Volkswagen Thing engine, and we're going to be running disc brakes in the front and drum on the back. As far as the teardrop goes, we're actually going to be building it from scratch. We're going to be building this on a 5x8 aluminum chassis that we'll get from Northern Tools. If you aren't already familiar with what a foamie is, it's actually when you construct a camper out of insulation board. It's a closed cell, I think they call it XPS foam. Here's a photo of what that stuff looks like. The stuff we'll be using is actually 2 inches thick, and then you come through and wrap that with fiberglass once you've built out your whole inner shell. This makes for an incredibly strong but very lightweight camper. We're aiming for about 500 pounds finished with this one decked out, and that's very achievable. We've seen it all the time in the foamie community, so I'm really excited about that. Once we finish both builds, this is designed to be a weekend camper or just a quick beach trip, and I think this will be the perfect little car for it. So now that y'all know where we're headed, we're going to pull off the body, the roll cage, and inspect the pan to just see where we're starting. Let's jump into it. Hey guys, so we actually got it disassembled in like an hour and a half. It weighs almost nothing. He had his 7-year-old lift the back half of it and carry it with him. So it's unbelievably light. It's about 40 horsepower with the dual port motor, so it's going to be quite fun. But getting down here, this car's originally from California, so not sure with stuff like this back floor pan was rusted. Not sure when that happened. This is just raw. It's not textured like the upper floorboards are. So we're going to power wash and we're going to paint all this, both bottom and top. To get back here, this wasn't a great repair. We're still going to do some cleanup work, but they did weld correctly along the seams. They just didn't clean up the final edges. I've seen them where they bolt them in or Bondo, and there's fiberglass pans. There's all kinds of crap you can do. This isn't the worst. It's not great, but we are going to clean it up. We'll probably do that on film. So to jump into this kind of, when I talked about shortening, I had never actually seen this, but I've kind of been looking at it to see what it actually looks like. You can see where these veins go up, and they'd come back down to meet like these V patterns do. And this is your main backbone that runs front to back. That's the main strength of a Volkswagen. And your pans hang off the side. They're kind of just free floating. They bolt up to the body. But your main strength comes from this joint. So what they do is they actually cut it here, and they took out about 13 to 14 inches is why you normally shorten these for two-seaters. So they've cut out a link here. They've cut these pans a little, brought this forwards, re-welded this. This is like quarter-inch steel. 1/4 inch? I don't know. It's thick. They've done this right, at least for this portion in the shortening pan. I'm happy with it. I don't see any structural issues. There's still a few welds we have to clean up for like the shift linkage up front. Overall, it's in pretty good shape. Transmission, as you can see, the tail housing's been going through. A little bit of grease on it, so I think it was just run for a little while. But overall, I'm really excited about the car. I think it's in great condition. A little more of a project, but it's nothing that I'm too worried about. Let's roll it outside and give it a good wash. So guys, you just see me finish power washing it, and I don't know if you could see what I was using. Let me see if it'll focus on it. I just use oven cleaner. I had found it to be one of the best degreasers there are out there. You can buy expensive engine degreaser and all kinds of other degreaser. Stuff's like $1 a can. It will peel paint. It is amazing stuff, and I'll show you some of the proof of that. The thing was covered in grease before. You can see there's still some grease. It stripped a lot of that away. The rest of that's very firmly attached. That whole housing, where is it? There was black when we started. They had just painted over this grease before. But we have managed to strip off a lot of that grease with this oven cleaner. You're supposed to let it sit for about 5 minutes. Unfortunately, I was impatient and I just shot top and then bottom. The pans are looking better. You can see the weld marks around that one. They have a ridiculous number of holes. Their seats didn't have sliders on them, so I guess they're trying to find the permanent position. So we're going to get some sliders for that. Transmission, you can see some of that paint's already been peeled off by this stuff. But overall, I'm pretty thrilled with it.
So guys, next episode we're actually going to be diving into the motor. If you've never seen a Volkswagen engine, it's really interesting. I recommend you come back. If you want to follow the full build series, please be sure to hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.